We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 14. Chapter 14 is the disappearance of Lord Krishna. And the text for today is text 30 and 31. Do I have a volunteer? Can I have a volunteer to read text 30, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tadojayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki Pradyumna Sarva Vrishninam Sukham Aste Maharata Dhambira Rayo Anirudho Vardate Bhagavan Uta. Translation: How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family? Is he happy? And how is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well? Hare Krishna. Should I continue with the purport, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, kindly continue. Text 30 and 31 both.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also personality of Godhead, and thus they are also like Vishnu Tattva. At Dwaraka, Lord Vasudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastimes along with plenary expansions, namely Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and therefore each and every one of them can be addressed as the personality of Godhead, and as it is mentioned in connection with the name Aniruddha. Text 31. Sushenas Charudesnascha Sambho Jambavati Sutta Anyecha Karshni Pravara Saputra Rishabhadaya. Translation: Are all the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushena, Charudeshna, Sambha, and son of Jambavati, and Rishabha, along with their sons, all doing well? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As already mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,100 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 into 10 is 161,000. 161,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father, and the whole aggregate was something near 1,610,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwaraka on this earth. It is not astonishing that Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwaraka, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for them to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Hare Govind Prabhu. We now hand over to Dina Sharan Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, kindly take over. Prabhuji, you have to unmute yourself. Hare Krishna Prabhu, kindly unmute.
There.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Now you can hear me. I'm glad you consider that a plus. So I offer my respects to all the assembled devotees, and thank you for allowing me to have your company. So we are continuing with our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14. Today's text 30 and 31. So Lord Krishna has quite a family, much larger than any of our families. Sometimes we think we have difficulties with our family. He had 16,108 wives, and from hundreds and hundreds of sons and tens of thousands of grandsons. The number of members of Lord Krishna's family in Dwarka numbered in the millions. So quite large. And we are specifically hearing about Pradyumna and Aniruddha, who are described as the expansions of Lord Krishna. Pradyumna, as we may know, was the son of Lord Krishna and Rukmini, and Aniruddha, his grandson. So who remembers who Pradyumna married? There was a special pastime. Do you remember who Pradyumna married?
Rukmi's daughter.
Yes, Rukmi's daughter, which was considered a little unusual, mostly because Rukmi was a bitter enemy of Lord Krishna. But he wanted to see his daughter happy, as fathers do, and so he went along with it. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the original form of Godhead. We learn Ishvara, what is that? Krishna's tu, Bhagavan Swayam, from the third chapter of this first canto. This text, that chapter is the incarnations of Krishna. And after describing many different incarnations, finally, Shukadeva Goswami says, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that Lord Krishna is the original source of all other incarnations. Without Lord Krishna, there are no other incarnations. So Lord Krishna, he has many different expansions by his Maya, by his Yoga Maya potency. They are him, but at the same time, they have a sense of identity as separate personalities, just as we do. We are part of Krishna, but we have individuality, and and we have free will. We can, even though Krishna is God, we can still rebel. We can still go against his desires. He does not force us. We are people, persons, meaning that we have feelings and thoughts and desires, and we can make choices as he does. And this makes good sense because we are part of him. So the expansions of Godhead are described, such as Lord Vamana, Lord Nrsingadev, Matsya, Korma, Varaha, different incarnations of Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram. They are Krishna in the sense that they are omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. But they still feel themselves to be subordinate to Lord Krishna and don't consider anything more valuable other than love of Krishna and devotion to Krishna. It's a very wonderful thing. This love of Krishna, devotion to Krishna, how special it is that even the expansions of Krishna hold that most dear. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the first part, there is a chapter devoted to Lord Nityananda and Sri Advaita Acharya. So we know the 5 members of the Panchatattva. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivas. So Lord Nityananda, as we may know, is actually Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram incarnates whenever Lord Krishna does, such as with Lord Ram, Lakshman, and with Lord Chaitanya as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And Sri Advaita is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. So we may remember that Lord Krishna from Goloka in the spiritual realm first expands as Lord Balaram, or is expanded. His first expansion is Lord Balaram. And from Lord Balaram is manifested Lord Sankarshan, Vasudev, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, Chatur Vyuha, the 4 next principal expansions of Krishna through Lord Balaram. And then from the Chaturvyuha is an expansion of Lord Mahanarayan, and from him another Chaturvyuha expansion, and then Mahasankarshan, another expansion, who remains always in the spiritual realm, and from Mahasankarshan comes Karnadakshay Vishnu. And Karnadakshay Vishnu is lying in the causal ocean, and from him manifests the material world. And from him are manifested, or not manifested, but are impregnated, all of us, into the material energy. And in that material energy, there is another, Lord Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from whose navel comes the lotus, and Lord Brahma, the engineer of the universe, sits and creates all the planets and everything. And Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who is the Lord who is Krishna as the Lord in the heart, who is within every atom throughout this material creation. So Lord Balaram is way at the beginning of this chain of expansions, Lord Krishna, then Lord Balaram. And so Lord Nityananda, he is Lord Balaram. And Sri Advaita Acharya is this Karnadakshay Vishnu, a manifestation of Karnadakshay Vishnu. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is presented to us by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, we learn how dear this mentality of Krishna Bhakti is. That both Lord Nityananda and Sri Advaita Acharya, although they are so infinitely, inconceivably powerful, omniscient, they know everyone is thinking everywhere, they still feel that there's nothing more special and nothing more that they want than devotion to Krishna. So I find this very encouraging, that there's no one more powerful or greater than them. And this is what they consider to be most valuable thing, devotion to Krishna, that they feel the most pleasure by thinking, I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am a servant of Krishna. I am part of Krishna. And they feel proud about that. You know, sometimes people feel proud that our country won the soccer championship 3 years in a row, or our country is so this and so that, or my family is the wealthiest in the area. Well, we humans feel pride for different. My son won a scholarship to the university in England. You know, we feel proud, happy to be associated with such success. or such power. The six opulences that are spoken about, that we all have some little bit of these six opulences, and Lord Krishna has them completely. Who remembers some of the six opulences? What are the six opulences of Bhagavan?
Wealth,
Wealth. Someone else?
Beauty,
Beauty,
strength,
strength,
fame,
fame. I think there's a couple more.
knowledge,
Knowledge and
renunciation,
renunciation.
renunciation. So isn't it in this world, people like to be associated with these opulences, like people who hang around wealthy people or celebrities, actresses, actors, singers, to be in touch with that fame, that influence, or to be associated with a strong, powerful person, right? So other people are value being associated with someone who's very wise, very intelligent, very knowledgeable. We humans, we want these things, and they are adored. So Krishna, he is the source of all of these opulences, and he has them completely and fully. And his expansions of Lord Balaram and Lord Mahavishnu and Srimati Radharani, first and foremost, she is Radhika. Radhika means the topmost worshipper. And Srimati Radharani is, as we know, there is no one who has more love for Krishna than her. She is the most devoted to Lord Krishna. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada encourages us to take shelter of her. And that we say Hare Krishna. We don't, when we chant the Maha Mantra, we first address the internal feminine energy, the compassionate feminine energy of Krishna. Just like children, sometimes they know if my father won't give me something or say yes, I'll go to my mother. She'll say yes. Not always. Sometimes the mother's more strict. But it is generally the case, isn't it, that the feminine Shakti has this gentleness and kindness, generally more than the male. So devotees are encouraged. So we say Hare Krishna, and we say Jai Shri Radhe, and we offer prayers. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sutadevi, Prananami Hari. That my dear divine Srimati Radharani, please have mercy and grant me just a drop of devotion, of love for Krishna. Again and again, Srila Prabhupada encourages us that although we can, and we do, we will have more mercy and benedictions available to us by approaching the pure devotees of Krishna than going to Krishna directly. This is a open secret for advancing in Krishna Bhakti. As we sometimes discuss, this Bhakti Yoga is not some mechanical thing like lifting weights. All we have to do is every day, few days a week, lift weights, and automatically after a few months, we have stronger muscles. It doesn't work like that. We will make advancement by following the practices of chanting our prescribed rounds and following the regular principles and adhering to the other main principles, following a codicy and observing the vegetarian diet offered to Krishna. But the inner development and the inner opening, expanding of the lotus flower of devotion cannot be cannot done simply by mechanically going through the motions alone. The practices, the obedient following of the different principles, whether we feel like it or not, will help us to come to the point of asking for the mercy of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, which is necessary. It will take us, it is said, hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes to try and defeat our inner demons on ourselves, on our own. It is far easier to ask for help to our spiritual master, to the previous spiritual masters, the pure devotees of Lord Krishna. In this day and age, to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, specifically and especially, to worship them and ask their help. And, as we were just discussing, the feminine energy of Krishna. Just like we have, we're coming into, at least here in the Western countries, we had the season for Rath Yatra, Lord Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra. So we are told that these manifestations of Krishna, they are more easily approachable than Radha Krishna. Although Krishna is Krishna, only he has different moods. Still, he has different moods. Just like someone, a mother may have an occupation as a judge. So if her child goes into the courtroom, they can't talk to her, and she's not going to relate with them as a child. It's just not proper. At home, she takes off her robe and takes off her. She's not a judge. She's not in that mood, that Vaishya. It is called Vaishya. So she deals with them as mother and child. It's the same person. So same way, Lord Krishna has different Vaishyas. He has different moods. And he relates differently. So it's not so complicated thing. So Lord Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra, they are more merciful, giving attitude than Krishna as Radha Krishna. Even in Puri, Lord Jagannath accepts the offerings, not that we should do it, but even those who eat fish. Lord Jagannath is a special manifestation of Lord Krishna for the fallen souls of this age. And Lord Chaitanya has specifically given us the example. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not stay in Vrindavan worshipping Radha Govinda, right? Where did Lord Chaitanya stay? The whole time as his residence in Jagannath Puri. And he went to see Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra every day. Now, the thing is that, of course, Krishna is Krishna. And so when he would stand before Jagannath, because of his inner heartfelt love, he would think of Krishna Govinda, Krishna Gopal. It is a matter of one's inner love and attraction for a particular form of Krishna. It's not wrong to think of Lord Jagannath as Govinda or Parthasarthi, the driver of Arjuna, or to think of Lord Jagannath as Lord Vamana, Lord Nrsimha. He is all those. And he will reciprocate how we want to see him. But that's something that comes naturally to a particular devotee. But in general, Lord Jagannath is in a very magnanimous mood, and he is willing to bless more easily and fulfill desires more easily than Krishna in his mood of Radha and Krishna. And we may have heard and know that Krishna Balaram, as Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda are even more. They don't even accept offenses. We would have to try very, very hard to offend them. Not that we should be careless, but so we cannot even begin to imagine how kind-hearted and loving they are. They feel bad for us and want to help us, but they will not force us to accept Krishna, to accept them. But if we ask, that is a very helpful thing for our spiritual life. So I wanted to go back. So Jagannath Balaram Subhadra. So Sri Subhadra Devi, she is actually the spiritual form of Durga, Sri Bhuvaneshwari. And we have mantras for her. Om Shrim Ram Bhuvaneshwari Namaha. So she is also feminine manifestation, compassionate manifestation, and especially as Jagannath Balaram Subhadra. She is another, he offers us another opportunity to take shelter and receive help in the course of our practices. So I've gone kind of around and around different directions, but it's not, I don't think, too far, because we're talking about the expansions of Krishna, and that's what this first verse and purport is talking about. That Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also plenary expansions. At Dwarka, Lord Vasudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastimes. Does anyone have any questions or discussions up to this point? So we were talking about moods or vaishas. So here on this planet Earth, we're so fortunate. We're only, I don't know, 5,100, 5,200 years after the appearance of Lord Krishna. Not that long in terms of eternal time. And so Lord Krishna appearing in Mathura and Vrindavan, and then transferring to Dwarka. So we may, it is to our profit to remember, we can refresh our memory together, that Lord Krishna's qualities, his pastimes, his divine names, and his holy dhams, where he resides, are all equally conscious. Although it may seem to us, to ordinary eyes, that Dwarka on the west coast of India and Mathura, Vrindavan, near Delhi, and Puri on the east coast, Jagannath Puri, and Mayapur, Navadvip in West Bengal, that these are geographical locations, and they are. And they look in many ways like nearby the other area, but they are actually also fully spiritual and conscious. In other words, I'm going to say that we can take shelter of the holy dhams. It is said that simply by meditating upon and remembering the names of Sri Dwarka Dham, Mathura Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Navadvip Dham, that simply by meditating, by saying the names of these divine places with respect, is very, very purifying and attracts the mercy of Krishna. Just as we have the Jayom prayers at the end of Kirtan, Jayom Vishnupada Padamahamsa Pada Vraja Jakacharya. And then we say Sri Dwarka Dham, Mathura Dham, Mayapur Navadvip Dham. It is, they aren't just some geographical place. They have spiritual power. And the trees and the plants and the birds and the monkeys and everything within these holy places have spiritual potency. So for each of us, for each devotee at different times, although it may seem, from one perspective, it may seem a little odd to be praying to a tree, but somehow with confidence in our spiritual teachers, following their example, we can try it. That oh, my dear divine holy land of Sri Dwarkadam, where Lord Krishna walked, if you would be so kind, please bless me with a drop of devotion. Like this. So shelter on the path of just living in this world. Forget about spiritual life. We all need shelter. There's so many issues, and we need doctors and lawyers, and police, and we need help. And on the path of spirituality, we also can use help, and it is available. Shelter, Sharanam, Sharanagati. Sharanagati is the path of surrender to Krishna. And that is what we are doing. We are on the path of practicing being surrendered to Krishna, feeling ourselves dependent upon him and all of his expansions. So when we are walking, sometimes when we walk on the road, there's a monsoon or very strong rainstorm, and we cannot drive, maybe we cannot even walk, perhaps. And so we take shelter of a tree, underneath the tree, right? Underneath all the branches, and we get some shelter. Or we go into a cave, or we go into some house, and we have shelter. Shelter from the onslaught of the hail and the rain. So this material world is constantly showering us with hail and severe cold and penetrating rain, figuratively. Adiatmic, adibodic, adidivic, right? So many, every day there is some challenge, either from our own body, our own mind, our family, our neighbors, the car, the dog, the house. Something is breaking, causing some issue, antagonistic, attacking us, and we seek shelter. So we have lots and lots of divine personalities to take shelter of against the obstacles on the path of devotion. So then the next text, it's being asked that how are the sons of Lord Krishna doing? And there is a description: he married 16,100 wives, had 161,080 sons. So that's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me. I can't wrap my mind around that, other than just to understand that Lord Krishna is not me. He's not like me. And that's it. God means that someone may ask us, well, how is that possible? And we may say, it's not possible, not for a human. But Lord Krishna is not human. That's the thing. He's not human. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Well, why do you believe that? How do you know that? I don't. But I have confidence and faith in the instruction of my spiritual teachers. Why should they be lying? Why would this big book, Srimad Bhagavatam, with 18,000 verses, just be written as just like some fantasy? Especially when you think about how much philosophy there is in it. You know, there's a lot of very deep thinking and conversation. Whoever wrote this wasn't just some guy who was writing a novel. You know, there's so many novels. Like, what is that? The Harry Potter series, right? That was a lady. I forget her name. She made a lot of money. But anyway, so she wrote that whole series. But it's just an invention. So, but if we think about, if we know, if we're familiar with the Vedic scriptures and the kind of wisdom that they have and the kind of knowledge that they have, and specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam, what it talks about, why would someone like that all of a sudden start talking fantasy stuff about a blue boy who played in Vrindavan? I mean, there must be something to it. I mean, it seems to me. And many other very learned, scholarly, college-educated, brilliant men and women accept it also. You know, I could see perhaps if maybe only 5 or 10 or 20 people believe in this Krishna. But throughout the past hundreds and hundreds of years, there have been dozens and dozens and hundreds of educated lawyers and doctors and political leaders and people who are usually accepted as not being stupid. They accept it. So how could it be that they're all crazy? Maybe 1 or 2 or 5, but hundreds and hundreds, they're all completely lost in space? That doesn't make sense to me. There must be something to it. I mean, however, I may not be able to understand it or grasp it, there must be something to it. That's what I think. And so this is one reason that we have confidence and faith, is that other people who are at least as intelligent as I am, and probably more, they accept it. And so many people of good character. There's history of so many persons who have been devotees of Krishna who are saints, very kind, caring, good people. Why should they be lying to us? That doesn't make any sense. And all of them together are just telling us no, that doesn't make sense. So that's one reason, or a couple of reasons, good reasons, I think, why if someone asks us, well, I don't know. And we should not be too fearful of saying that, because it's true. I haven't seen, Lord Krishna hasn't appeared to me and talked to me. I don't know in that sense, because some people will try to pin us to the wall. Well, how do you know? I have faith. Just like I have faith in going home at night at the right time so I can turn the telly on and watch a certain television show. I don't know if it's going to be on. Would I bet my life that telly show is going to be on? No, I wouldn't. Would I bet my son's life, my husband's life? Yes, it's going to be on. If it's not on, you can kill them. No, we wouldn't do that, would we? So we have confidence. Sometimes people, they think they got you. Oh, you have faith. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. You're spot on. And you do too. If you didn't think that your car would start in the morning, you wouldn't bother walking out the front door. But you don't know it will start. Would you bet your mother's life it will start? No. You don't know. Absolutely, you have faith. Everyone has faith. What do you think? You think that's true? So don't be put off by someone who tries that childish, immature kind of, well, you have faith. You religious people have faith. As if they don't do too. It's almost mystical how they missed that point. But not everyone is as deep thinking as other people. Then, well, any other reason you believe in all this? Well, yeah, by following the process of Krishna Bhakti, it's supposed to give certain results, and I experience that enough so that I have more confidence. It is said that if I follow the 4 regulative principles and I chant and sing and study, I will experience this. And I do. So it seems to work. So I have confidence. Why should the rest of it not be true? And then, besides so many learned people who have who are devotees and have been devotees for centuries, we have a whole line of pure devotees who have written and spoken and sung about Lord Krishna in very obvious feeling and emotion. Are they all just nuts? Probably not. There must be something there. So in this way, we, at least initially, have confidence. And as we practice the process, because this process of Krishna consciousness is meant to give each of us, me and you and all of us, personal realization of God. It's not that there's only pure devotees who have realization of God and no one else does. No. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabavengram Indrayai Sevan Mukhe Hijyavacha Swayameva Saratyada. That the process of realizing that Krishna is God, that this blackish blue complexion personality who is talked about in the Srimad Bhagavatam, who drove the chariot of Arjuna, who lived in Dwarkadam, who lived in Vrindavandam, who has had songs and poetry sung about him for thousands of years, we can realize that this person who is the speaker of Bhagavad Gita is the same super soul within my heart and in the hearts of others, that he is actually the supreme spiritual personality of Godhead. We are meant to have more and more bite it off, chew it, taste it, swallow it, realization. So that when someone says, do you have any realization? Yes, I do. And you can too. You just follow the process. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains in the 11th chapter that I can only be understood by pure devotion. And in that 11th chapter, there are specific instructions. If someone says to us, well, how can I experience God? Sure, absolutely. Go to the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, read the last 10 verses, and do it. Go to the 11th chapter, find the instructions, and do the instruction. That's up to you. It's kind of almost like a challenge that some people, they talk, you religious people that, well, then you follow it. Otherwise, bite your tongue. You follow this process for 2 years and then you come back and talk to me. Otherwise, how can you know? You won't know. So Srila Prabhupada writes in this, in the purport, the same thing. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of 10 million members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours. And it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. And so this is exactly it. That, well, how can God do that? Because he's God. Try and think, take a deep breath, and try and think for a few minutes. What does God mean? We bandy that word about so easily, but what does it really mean? And do I grasp that? So theoretically, understanding this definition of God as someone who can do anything and everything without difficulty, then this is no problem. This is no problem at all. No difficulty at all. Having 161,000, we're all sons and children of God already. That's another point. Krishna has already expanded into gazillions and quadrillions and quintillions of children. That's you and that's me. God has already done it, right? There's already expansions of Christians. So this is nothing new. It's just a particular place. So it's important to think. Stop watching the cricket game and soccer game and think. turn off the video and the TikTok and think, try to actually meditate, right? It requires meditation to think about these things. And then it becomes easier. Oh, of course. I mean, I still can't quite believe it, but of course, God can do this if he wanted. That's the meaning of God. If he wants to appear as a half man, half lion, as a boar, as a swan, he can do anything. So are there any questions or comments or discussion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. When talking about faith, I just wanted to recollect what Prabhupada was saying, that when you go to a barber, he has a knife in his hand, and then how do you have faith in that he will not cut your throat and shave your beard? So
I didn't
that
hear
is
that.
faith.
Somehow the audio is coming through Gar. Someone read the comment or the
Hare Krishna,
question.
Prabhu, you are able to hear now? Hare Krishna? No.
It is just now not coming.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you
Hare
hear me?
Krishna?
Nothing has come.
Hare
Yeah, I can
Krishna
hear
Prabhu.
you more clearly. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Arya Govind Prabhu is trying to say that regarding faith, how when you go to the barber, he has the knife, and how sure are you that he's not going to cut your throat and cut only your beard? That is what Arya Govind Prabhu said. So
Yes, that's a good one. Yes, you put your faith, you have confidence based upon past experience. The person's never been arrested as a murderer. You don't think he has a grudge against you. You know, he hasn't been drinking, right? There's some basis for confidence. You know, we're not just silly people who believe in Krishna for no reason. We can give reasons, just like everyone else can say, well, I've been using my car. I've started it for the past month. Got it looked at a couple of weeks ago. There's no reason to think it won't start, and it probably will start, but you don't know for sure, right? So we have confidence based upon good evidence. And see, if we say like that, or if we acknowledge that, that's the real thing. No, the more honest we are, then we can look someone in the eye and talk to them. You know, we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to fake anything. We're being very real, very real. And that's what gave us confidence in Srila Prabhupada, that we could understand, we could feel how real he was. He said what he did what he said, and he was real and honest. You know, just like often it's known in a workplace, if the manager is just straight up that I made a mistake, I really blew it, I learned, you know, not to do that again, the employees will respect him or her more and have more faith in the person than if they're trying to fake being perfect, right? He's more real, or she's just more honest. Some other comments or discussion?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I like the point where you said that um, why can't Krishna have so many wives and so many grandchildren? And yet we know that he's in all our, I mean, even an amoeba or a small insect or a tiny organism, he's present. So he has manifested himself in zillions and zillions and zillions and expanded himself into all these organisms, including us, of course. So, I mean, this 16,801 is a small number compared to what he has, what we are seeing. So, definitely it is possible.
Yes. Or someone said, how can Krishna lift a big hill as a boy? I don't know, how can he hold the planets and up in space? Think about it, the Earth and Venus and Mercury and Mars and all these planets, they're just floating and spinning. So if he can do that, if he can make an arrangement, why couldn't he lift a little hill? So this is common sense, kind of, just common sense. Oh yeah, of course, right. Still hard to. It's just amazing, but yeah, of course, it's possible. That's very helpful thing sometimes for people who are just thinking about God, at least to get their foot in the door. This idea that, oh, God can do anything, so I guess he could do this. Yeah, what can I say? At least that's a step forward. And then as we understand more and have more experience, we appreciate and have and glorify Krishna. Oh, you're simply wonderful. I have no idea how you do it, but it's just wonderful and amazing. All these different pastimes, appearing as Lord Nrsimha and completely tricking Hiranyakashipu. That was such. You want to talk about a switch around, right? Hiranyakashipu, he thought he had it covered. I won't be killed by this one and that one and this one and that one. And Krishna completely outsmarted him by killing him on the doorway. It wasn't in, it wasn't out, it wasn't on the ground, it was on the lap. It wasn't by a man or a beast, it was by a half man, half beast. It just talk about sharp thinking. Krishna is very sharp thinking, very clever. So in this way, Krishna is we are encouraged to see Krishna, his abilities within the material energy, not just as Damodar running from Mother Yashoda, but think about all the music. Think about music, all the different styles of music and musical instruments. Think about the best male and female singers that you like. What an amazing ability. And where does that come from? It's Krishna. It's Krishna. That singing is just a spark of his ability, his musical ability. So wow, what an amazing flute player, guitar player, right? Or look at sports, famous sports people, how good they are, the amazing things they do, these gymnasts and acrobats. It's just a spark of Krishna's ability. So in this way, we're not out of our minds saying that God is the most amazing, Krishna is the most amazing poet and singer and songwriter and gymnast and mathematician and doctor and lawyer, artist. Think of all the sculptures and paintings. That's Krishna. The ability comes from him. So in this way, we can appreciate, oh, Krishna is amazing. And so we chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You are so great and amazing and wonderful. What a poet, what a singer, what musical ability, what humor. Most of us, I'm sure, are like comedians, a good joke. So imagine that all of that humor, it is originating in Krishna. So what an amazing comedian Krishna must be. Amazing, what do you call it? Stand-up comedian, Krishna. And he has a name, Hasyagrami, which one it was make jokes. So in this way, we can, if we think a little bit, we can have a feeling or have actual grasp of who Krishna is in terms of his qualities. And powerful, of course. You just go outside and look at the sun or look at a tree. Wow. Or if you want to see into Krishna's thinking capacity, you go to Wikipedia and look up the working of the eye. Go to Wikipedia and read about the eye, how the eye works, all the different chemicals and enzymes, and they all have to work in a specific order. It's a tremendously complicated mechanism, tremendously complicated, the rods and the cones and the nerves and retina and the lens. You want to have your mind blown? You want to get realization of God? Read that. Read that. Read how the, what is it called? Genetic control. How, you know, one gene turns on another gene and that turns on another one. And it's a incredibly complicated feedback mechanism, the cellular metabolism and creation. Incredible. You read that. You want to see God? Read that. Yeah, that's God realization. Yeah, not just looking at the deity and Krishna's holding a flute and smiling at Srimati Radharani. That's something, but there's so much other aspects too, which are right in front of us. So in this way, as Lord Krishna says, think of me always and never forget me. So we're in the store, we're shopping, we're in somewhere, we hear some very beautiful singing, and wow, Krishna is so talented. And we think of Krishna. Any other discussion or comments? I think we've used up our time.
Yes, Prabhuji, we've exhausted our time, but thank you for reminding me another way of remembering Krishna, because I teach genetics and the body's immune system and how it works and how one gene switches on another gene and the feedback mechanism in the loop and everything.
Yeah.
So,
I think you
amazing.
want to hear something. Here's something, you want to hear something mystical, something magical, and it happened. That take any university. Some student goes to the software, the programming class, computer programming, and the instructor is explaining that, oh, yes, this Microsoft Office software, millions of lines of codes. It takes multiple teams of hundreds of programmers to put it together over many years originally. Amazing. And then you go to the biology class, and it does happen every day. And the teacher will say, so one of the best analogies that biologists have come up with to talk about DNA and genetics is that it is very complicated software. Oh, who wrote it? No one. It just put itself together. Now that's you want to talk about something that's even more amazing than the idea of God, is why that happens. How could this person even begin to say such a thing? That's amazing. And something screwy is going on there. You know, at least the person could say, we don't know. We have no idea. But someone must have done it. Because that's just our own human experience. It's not a matter of faith, it's our own experience. Software never puts itself together. Even if AI puts together software, someone programmed the AI. Okay.
Thank you very much.
My mouth is closed.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, I think we'll end on that note. And Arya Govind Prabhu, are you able to end this session for today? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session. You have told us various things about, how to remember God in various things that we see around us, and then different expansion. Also, I really like the fact that you told the different expansions, so immediate expansion, who are equally potent, omnipotent and omnipresent, but still they are hankering only after serving the Lord with love and affection. They're hankering for that love. So what to speak of as we are insignificant, really insignificant in front of them. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for making us realize these facts. I request all the devotees to unmute and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once in glorification of His Grace, Dina Sharan Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
one
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam
patinam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavyo
namo
Namo Namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
Ki Jai.
Grace Divina Sharan Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank all of you so much for your company and keeping me in your Sangha. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji, for
Krishna.
the
Thank
kind
you.
association. Hare Krishna.